15,000 years ago, Native Americans walked among giant beasts that would make today's predators look tiny. Welcome to a lost world of prehistoric giants. Let's start with a familiar friend wearing an unfamiliar face. While most people associate horses in the Americas with European colonists, the truth is far more fascinating. Native Americans actually witnessed the last of America's original horses. Creatures that had evolved on this very continent for millions of years before mysteriously vanishing. Meet Equus scotti, or Scots horse, standing about 4.6 feet tall at the shoulder, closer to a large pony than our modern steeds. These weren't the only native horses roaming the continent. South America was home to Hippodon, a genus perfectly adapted for mountainous regions, while another species called Equus convertans, the Mexican horse, grazed across North American grasslands. But here's what makes this discovery mind-blowing. These horses disappeared around 11,000 years ago, yet when Europeans reintroduced horses in the 15th and 16th centuries, they unknowingly restored a missing piece of the continent's ecological puzzle. The grasslands these ancient horses had maintained for millennia were finally getting their architects back. Where there were herds, predators followed. And no predator was more fearsome than the dire wolf, though calling it a wolf barely does justice to this prehistoric nightmare. Despite popular depictions, the dire wolf wasn't just an oversized version of today's wolves. Recent genetic studies reveal something startling. Inocean dirus belonged to an entirely different lineage of canines, so distinct they couldn't even interbreed with modern wolves. Picture a predator weighing up to 150 pounds, with a skull broader and more robust than any modern wolf, equipped with bone-crushing teeth designed for one purpose: bringing down Mega-fauna. Unlike today's endurance-hunting wolves, dire wolves were built like furry tanks, specializing in short, powerful bursts of speed and devastating ambush attacks. For early Native Americans, a dire wolf pack represented more than just danger. They were competition. Both species relied on hunting the same massive prey, creating a dynamic relationship of fear, respect, and occasional cooperation over carcasses. Archaeological evidence suggests these interactions lasted until the dire wolves vanished around 9,000 years ago, taking with them one of North America's most formidable predators. But not every encounter involved razor-sharp teeth and crushing jaws. Sometimes, Native Americans stumbled upon what appeared to be a massive boulder, until it started moving. Enter the glyptodon, nature's answer to a walking fortress, and quite possibly the most bizarre creature early Americans ever witnessed. Imagine an animal the size of a small car, weighing nearly 2,000 pounds, encased in a domed shell made of hundreds of interlocking bony plates. This wasn't just any armadillo. This was an armadillo that could have doubled as prehistoric mobile architecture. Recent archaeological evidence suggests that humans didn't just hunt these gentle giants. They actually used their enormous shells as temporary shelters. Talk about prehistoric recycling. The glyptodon's defensive arsenal didn't stop at its armor. Its tail, encased in bony rings, functioned as a massive club capable of delivering bone-shattering blows to any predator brave enough to attack. Yet despite this fearsome appearance, glyptodonts were peaceful vegetarians, spending their days munching grass and maintaining the open landscapes that supported countless other species. If you thought dire wolves were terrifying, wait until you meet the undisputed king of Pleistocene predators, Smilodon, the saber-toothed cat. But let's shatter another misconception. Those iconic fangs weren't delicate daggers. They were robust, powerful weapons resembling railway spikes more than thin blades, capable of growing up to 11 inches long. The largest species, Smilodon populator, weighed as much as a small Kodiak bear, while Smilodon fatalis, the species Native Americans would have encountered, tipped the scales at up to 600 pounds. These weren't just big cats. They were precision-killing machines with a hunting strategy, unlike any modern predator. Rather than delivering the suffocating throat bite favored by today's big cats, saber-toothed cats use their powerful forelimbs to pin down prey before delivering a precise, devastating bite to the neck or belly. This technique allowed them to take down prey much larger than themselves, including bison, camels, and even young mammoths. Here's where the story gets even more fascinating. Recent fossil evidence suggests these fearsome predators may have lived in social groups, caring for their injured and elderly members. Fossils show individuals with severe injuries that survived for extended periods, impossible without assistance from their pride. The same predator that could crush a mammoth's skull might have also shared food with its disabled family members. But if anything could challenge the saber-toothed cat's reign of terror, it was Arctodus, the short-faced bear, quite literally the largest terrestrial carnivorous mammal ever to walk the earth. Standing at human eye level on all fours and reaching 11 feet when rearing up, this prehistoric giant made modern grizzlies look like teddy bears. Weighing up to 2,100 pounds, the short-faced bear wasn't just massive, it was fast. Its long limbs and specialized heel structure suggest it could reach speeds of 40 miles per hour in short bursts, making it a terrifying combination of size, power, and speed. For early Native Americans, encountering one of these giants must have felt like meeting a living mountain that could outrun you. Archaeological evidence reveals that humans and short-faced bears actually competed for the same cave sites, with alternating occupation patterns spanning thousands of years. This competition for resources may have contributed to the bear's extinction around 12,800 years ago, marking the end of one of North America's most imposing creatures. Not every megafauna encounter meant mortal danger. Some represented opportunity on an almost unimaginable scale. Enter the continent's most famous giants, mammoths and mastodons, walking supermarkets that could feed entire tribes for weeks. Native Americans encountered 3 types of these proboscideans: Columbian mammoths, woolly mammoths, and American mastodons. A single adult could provide enough meat to sustain a large group for extended periods, plus valuable resources like hide for shelter, bones for tools, and ivory for artwork. The hunting of these giants required extraordinary planning, coordination, and courage. The Clovis people, known for their distinctive spear points, were particularly skilled mammoth hunters, with numerous kill sites discovered across North America. Evidence dates these hunting activities back over 14,000 years, making them some of the earliest documented human activities in North America. Perhaps most surprising to modern audiences, Native Americans regularly encountered camels. Yes, camels, roaming the western United States. Camelops stood about 20% taller than modern camels, with long, lanky legs perfectly adapted for long-distance travel across diverse landscapes. Interestingly, despite being easier prey than mammoths or saber-toothed cats, camelops seem to have been largely left alone by early humans. Many fossils show no signs of human damage, suggesting these animals weren't primary hunting targets. Perhaps their speed and alertness made them more trouble than they were worth. Even more bizarre were the giant beavers, Castoroides, reaching up to 7.2 feet long and weighing 3 times as much as a German shepherd. These massive rodents had half a ruler-sized incisors and powerful jaws, yet lived peaceful, aquatic lives feeding on water plants. Like the camels, giant beavers seem to have had minimal interactions with humans, possibly due to their semi-aquatic lifestyle limiting contact opportunities. Here's where the story becomes truly remarkable. Many indigenous American oral traditions contain references to giant animals that mainstream science once dismissed as mythology. The Salish of British Columbia have mammoth songs and dances. Osage traditions tell of battles between giant beasts, mammoths, sloths, bears, and dire wolves. The Acoma language includes an ancient word for camel, preserved across millennia despite the animal's extinction over 13,000 years ago. As Acoma historian Raquel Pascual-Charlie explains, we have that word because, at some point in our past, we had actually seen that animal. We grow up listening to our traditional stories, but these aren't just bedtime stories. These are things that actually happened. Recent archaeological discoveries, like the ancient footprints at White Sands National Park showing humans and megafauna coexisting, are validating what indigenous communities have always known. Their stories are historical records, not fairy tales. By 13,000 years ago, this incredible world was rapidly disappearing. The late Pleistocene extinction event eliminated about 72% of North America's megafauna, leaving behind only fragments: bison, bears, wolves, and a handful of others, hardy enough to survive humanity's arrival and climate change. The giants that had defined an entire continent for millions of years were reduced to bones, legends, and genetic echoes. The first Native Americans were the last humans to witness Earth's most spectacular wildlife show. They saw predators that could crush cars, herbivores larger than houses, and ecosystems more diverse than any place on Earth today. These weren't primitive people struggling against nature. They were sophisticated hunters and survivors who shared their world with creatures of mythic proportions. Every arrowhead, every campsite, every oral tradition carries forward the memory of this lost world. When we study these extinct giants, we're not just learning about ancient animals. We're uncovering the incredible story of humanity's first steps into the new world, where every day brought encounters with the impossible, and survival meant outwitting creatures that evolution had spent millions of years perfecting. The next time you see a modern horse, remember, you're looking at a returnee, a species coming home after a 10,000-year absence. The next time you hear thunder across the plains, imagine when that sound came from the footsteps of giants. Because for a brief, spectacular moment in Earth's history, such wonders were not myth. They were Monday morning for the world's first Americans. So, what are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more such content.